Welcome to Manhwa Recaps. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Due to the welcome reception of the new voice, I am glad to say that it's...
Just kidding. Thanks for letting me know that shit was ass. I was trying a new voice because I thought YouTube wasn't recommending my videos to people anymore. But the amount of comments flaming the voice told me otherwise. Thanks for the support, guys. I really appreciate everyone who still watches this channel after so long. The series starts with a woman being tortured in a chair, and a man says that he thought this was a game. The woman calls out to someone named Woo-hyun, saying she can't take it anymore, and he says that he told himself it was just a realistic game that he could log out at any time. She looks up at him crying, saying that she's sorry, and he yells telling her no, and we learn that her name is Sua. But it is not just her, as multiple people start calling out to Woo-hyun, saying that he has to be the one to survive, and they start dying one after the other. He says as time went on he had no choice but to accept it, and he begs that they don't leave him behind like this, and he slowly came to realize that this place had become his new reality. He starts screaming, and we learn he is in something called the Reverse Planet. It is a viral VR game praised by users for its themes of dimensional gates, special abilities, and invasion wars. He logged into it because a friend told him that it was good, and he got completely trapped in here, unable to leave the game. The men enter the room congratulating him, calling him test subject number 62, saying he has taken one step closer to becoming the transcendent for Project Transcendence. This is a project that grinds up thousands of people just to create a single transcendent, and they conducted inhumane biological experiments on kidnapped victims using electrical torture, drug injections, and body modifications. As they are taking away the bodies of everybody else, they are ordered to lock up Woo-hyun with the others. He sits there in anger, saying this is unforgivable, and if this has truly become his reality, he will make sure he gets his revenge no matter what. Some time later, sirens go off, saying a test subject has escaped, and all personnel need to arm themselves and be on standby. We see Woo-hyun and a group making a break for it, and he gets excited, saying that once they get past this corridor they will finally be free. But instantly they all stop in their tracks as a man stands in their way, saying that they crawled all the way here, but they surely didn't expect this would be their grave. They realize they are going to have to fight him, and they order Woo-hyun to support them from the rear. They start charging in, and eventually we see Woo-hyun has him in a chokehold until the man takes his final breath, but it looks like everyone else was killed in the process. Woo-hyun cries, saying he cannot believe this happened again, and the corpses of his allies start to haunt him, saying how unfair it is that he is the only one to survive, and he is completely ridden with guilt. After escaping the lab that day, the years went by, and eventually a very long time passed. To avenge the ones that he loved, he killed, and killed, and killed again as we see him taking down a group of enemies, and one of them makes a break for it, but he throws a knife, hitting him in the back of the throat. No matter how many he killed, his revenge was unending, and constantly he was having mental bouts with the guilt of being the only survivor. He wonders how much longer he has to live like this, saying surely it will not be until the day he dies. A status window appears in front of him, and he is surprised as it says that there is a bug fix, and if he eliminates the director of Project Transcendence, he will return to his original world. He makes his way further into the office, leaving nothing but corpses behind. We see a man on his knees asking him why he is doing this, as they were finally about to bask in glory. This is the executive director of Project Transcendence. Another man grabs him by the collar, saying surely he is not actually that clueless. This is test subject number 81 of the project, named Kim Youngjin. The director tells Youngjin to be quiet, but he calls out by his test subject number, saying he was not speaking to the likes of him, and he calls Woo-hyun by his full name, and we learn that he actually has the nickname of Superhuman. The director says that he obtained transcendence with nothing but a human body, and he is a true superhuman, the single most successful masterpiece of their project. The director starts to get angrier, calling him stupid, saying surely he does not think that if he kills him, everything will be over. The corporate alliance never forgives anyone who bears their fangs at them, and he says again that it is not just him, but his family, relatives, and colleagues will all be ruined. Before he even realizes it, he and his desk have been cut in half, and his body falls into two pieces on the floor. Some of it spills onto Youngjin, and he starts barking at Woo-hyun, asking why he spilled blood all over him, and why he killed him right away since he had questions for him. Woo-hyun just stares at the status window, saying that since he has completed his mission he can return to his original world. He says finally he is free, and he just needs to press the button, and at last he will be home. As he goes to do it, his survivor's guilt comes back, and everybody starts haunting him, saying surely he has not forgotten them. and that he needs to continue to get his revenge, and they will not rest until he does. He tells them that he is tired, and that he has done enough by now, and that it is fine even if he leaves this once, as this might be the first and last chance he ever gets. Youngjin snaps him out of it, and Woo-hyun tells him that he is going back to his original world now. Youngjin asks what he is talking about, as he has been here from the start, but Woo-hyun presses yes, saying he should tell the others too that he is sorry for leaving. He wakes up in his bed and starts panting. He looks around, saying it is definitely his room, and he wonders if he truly came back. He grabs his phone, wondering how much time has passed, but what he sees is that it is the same day he got dragged into the game, so no time passed at all. His body has reverted back, as all of his muscles are gone. He says it is as if it were all a dream, the years of him constantly fighting for his life as well as watching his comrades die, but there is no way that could have been a dream, as it was way too vivid, and he still has all the memories, and the 10 years he spent there were real. He gets a phone call from someone named Young Naeun. Woo-hyun wonders why that name sounds familiar. She starts yelling at him, asking why he is not answering, saying surely he did not forget their promise. He asks what she is talking about, and she says they said they would meet tonight, and she sends him the location so he should get there now. She hangs up, and he says he remembers that voice now. She was the only colleague he was remotely close to, and the one who recommended him Reverse Planet in the first place. He wonders if she planned it, but based on his memories it is unlikely, so he should go meet her anyway. He heads to the location and looks around until she waves, saying it has been a while since the end of term exams, and asking him if he wants to drink. He says he will pass on the alcohol today, because even if he gets drunk he does not know what will happen. She says she will order some food then, and as she does she asks if he has tried Reverse Planet yet, as last time he told her he passed the tutorial. He tells her he made a character and watched the intro, and right after that he was dragged straight in. She asks if he really just watched the intro, and says that is basically not playing at all. He starts to get annoyed, saying if she knew it made him suffer 10 years she would not be saying this, and it was all because of her. She starts to pout, saying she was looking forward to it, as he promised to be a regular guest on her stream. Since he was a Coliseum ranker, even showing half of that physicality on a small streamer like hers would blow up her channel. He is confused, then remembers that her hobby was streaming, and she would always pester them to play games together. Still, at least now, it feels like he finally came back. Back at his house, he looks into the company who made Reverse Planet. He tells himself that he has done enough, since he escaped that hell, so there is no point digging into it, and that he will forget everything from over there, as this is his real world now. We see him hanging out with some friends, and he says since that day, he went to and from school and tried to live an ordinary life, but constantly the survivor's guilt was still there with him, asking if he really returned, and if this is even his real reality. He turns to stare at the apparition, but when he does it is gone, and he says slowly everything began to fall out of place, and when he looked at people, he saw the faces of his dead comrades. He starts tweaking, and the other students say maybe he is on fent. He heads into the hallway to catch his breath, until somebody grabs his shoulder. This causes him to freak out even more, and he grabs the man's wrist, pulling him forward, reaching into his pocket, pulling out a knife, and slicing the man's throat, before he snaps out of it, realizing there is nothing in his hand and he does not have his old uniform. He apologizes, saying he was startled, and the guy tells him he has been acting strange lately. He looks down at his trembling hand and heads outside, cracking open a cold one, and sits on a bench. Once more, the ghosts of his comrades call out to him, telling him to come back, saying surely he has not forgotten them, and the haste to avenge them. He yells for it to stop, until Naeun calms him down. She says he looks pale, and that he seems out of it these days, asking what is wrong. He tells her that it is nothing. She says even if he says so, if anything does happen, he needs to tell her, and she will help him. He says he finally realized now that it was him who brought the ghosts back in the first place, but she heads back to class. That night he goes to a VR capsule, saying that if none of this ends until they are satisfied, then at this rate this world is no different from the one he was stuck in, so he will go back to Reverse Planet, and see it through to the end this time. The status window then welcomes him to the game, and as he spawns in he looks into a mirror, saying that this is the lab's waiting room. He wonders why he is just in the game world, and why he could not go back to that world. Just when he had finally resolved himself to return to that hell. He says there must be some other condition he has to meet. The status window asks if he would like to confirm his appearance, and he says that for now he will proceed with the tutorial, as he might be able to return to that world once it is over, but first he needs to take care of the settings. In that other world he fought well enough even without combat assistance, so he sets it to 0. He proceeds with the initial ability setup, saying he should choose his first core ability element, and they can be reset at any time. Reverse Planet's ability system is designed to strengthen a character by first selecting a core element, and then enhancing it with various sub-elements. The entire structure from core to sub-elements is called a build. The number of elements is so vast that in pro leagues there are professional builders who dedicate themselves solely to theory crafting. Among all of them, the one that earned him the title of superhuman was none other than this one, and he selects it, but we do not get to see what it is yet. Somebody chimes in over the speaker calling him Test Subject 48, saying it seems he awakened in the last experiment, and it has been a week. He says the game does not show the process before the awakening, but he doubts anyone would actually want to experience that. It tells him to step inside again for the next experiment, and he sees something he recognizes. It is called Eternal, a killing machine created to stop the rampages of awakeners from Project Transcendence, and the very reason countless test subjects lost their lives. It tells him he needs to fight it, and he can tell it is an early model, but he gets PTSD flashbacks of his comrades being murdered by it. It glares at him, syncing with the one running at him in the present. He says it is the same here as there, and the researchers are always doing disgusting things. He dodges the first attack, and Eternal instantly follows with 3 more. He ducks underneath, closes the gap, and puts his hand directly on it. He says the final version is tricky since it can use abilities, but this is nothing more than an early model, and he slams it straight into the floor. He slams it so hard that it falls into pieces across the room, which means the experiment is complete. The voice calls him incredible, saying at this level his aptitude for abilities is incomparable to ordinary test subjects, and now it is time for the next experiment. The entire lab begins shaking, and the person on the intercom forgets to turn off their mic, asking what is happening. As it turns out, the government is invading, and we hear the man die. A woman then chimes in, saying this is a message for all victims trapped in the laboratory, and they need to use their strength and get outside immediately. He begins to maybe recognize her voice. The tutorial quest changes to escape the lab, as it starts to self-destruct. He quickly moves down the hallway, asking how many explosions he just heard, and the hallway is a complete mess. As he runs by, he spots a man bleeding out in the corner. He sees the Interdimensional Management Bureau's mark, meaning he is not an enemy. The man says that if he made it this far, he intends to escape, and if he wishes, he can help him, and he should pick any weapon he chooses. He hands him a radio, saying that once he is outside he can send a signal, and the Bureau will pick him up, then he dies. Woo-hyun hears footsteps as another Eternal appears around the corner. He says he forgot this was just a game, and that it must be a necessary segment for progression. He walks over to the board of weapons, takes the chain sickle, and wonders what this disgusting feeling is. Meanwhile, a woman named Kang Soil is complaining that she cannot believe she is playing Reverse Planet, saying her pride in playing retro games is being crushed. She says that they are the ones who decided she would play this, but a promise is a promise, and she never breaks one to her viewers. They flame her, saying she has lied so far, and she changes the subject, saying she will begin the penalty for failing to clear, and that she is starting the game. She says there is no need to change her character's appearance, and for her ability she chooses something cool like fire. Lastly, she sets combat assistance to 50%, but the chat tells her it has to be 0. She says clearing the tutorial with 0 assistance is not possible, as the percentage of users worldwide who play with 0 assistance is near 0. Her skills have been honed by other games, so she is confident in her mechanics, but no assist makes the controls feel like controlling a third arm that just sprouted. She tells them she would like to go with no assistance, but then somebody donates 500,000 won. She instantly folds, saying she is down for it. She runs out of her room, saying she will clear the tutorial quickly, but gets folded immediately by the Eternal. She grabs her walkie-talkie, saying she cannot believe it threw her into a fight with no explanation, as it stomps on her. She says she has the radio and a weapon now, so she just needs to escape. It starts auto-matchmaking her. And she forgot this was a mechanic. If she clears with a matched party member it still counts as her completing it. People in chat say she is getting carried, but others say she will not find a match because matchmaking only works with people who have the same combat assistance percentage. She says that means she definitely cannot get help, and they laugh at her for falling for it. But then it actually matches her. She says she is screwed as it warps her to where her party member is. When she opens her eyes, she sees tons of Eternals dead on the ground, and says this is no joke. People say it is probably a pro smurfing, but others say there is no pro who can do this in the tutorial with no assistance. She looks at the bodies, saying he did not take a gun like she did, and wonders what weapon he used, but regardless he is the perfect carry. She says she will find him now, and we see Woo-hyun up ahead as he is covered in blood. He hears footsteps, then turns staring at the corner. As she comes around it, he leaps at her, as she asks where her teammate is. He stops himself just before stabbing her in the face. She stares at the blade, freaks out, then hides around the corner, begging to be saved. He apologizes, saying he was mistaken. But she can tell by his lab coat that he is her party member. He tells her he is leaving, and she asks if she can go with him since they were matched together. She introduces herself, informing him he is on a live broadcast, but privacy mode is on so his face is hidden. He stops moving, and she wonders if he is mad, but then armed guards approach them, saying they need to kill them, and not capture them alive. They start firing, and she takes cover behind an eternal, wondering why the tutorial difficulty is so high. She calls Woo-hyun her bus driver, asking if he is okay, but she sees him flying through the air dodging bullets, using his chain sickle to attack from range. She asks if the chat is watching, saying she does not know much about the game, but she can tell this is crazy, asking if anyone knows what kind of ability he is using, as his eye color turned black. They say it might be wind, judging by weapon movement, but then someone says the only core element that boosts physical stats while changing eye color is transcendence. She says she heard that was a trash ability that makes you unable to use others, so everyone told her not to pick it, and the chat says they are just as confused as she is. We learn more about transcendence. It's one of the many core elements of Reverse Planet. It boosts physical abilities and resistance to ability attacks, but in exchange you become unable to use any ability skills, a penalty considered absolute hot dog shit among every user. Soil's chat explodes, saying they've never seen anyone willingly pick a build that disables abilities in a game where abilities are the entire point. Still, seeing his black irises, that's definitely what he picked. Someone suggests maybe the physical stat raise is important, but she says even then he'd still only be level 1. She wonders if movements like that are even possible for a level 1 player, and begins to question what kind of human he must be outside the game. As Woo-hyun kills the last guards, he drops his shoulders and stares down at his blade. The guilt returns, the voices of his comrades whispering that it isn't enough, that he still hasn't taken enough revenge, they aren't satisfied. Another guard peers around the corner and aims his rifle at Woo-hyun, but Soil dashes in yelling that it's dangerous. She fires 3 shots, forcing the man back behind the wall, then slides in while he's panicked and puts a bullet through his head. Her chat starts gassing her up. She proudly asks Woo-hyun how that was, saying that she was at least a little helpful, right? But Woo-hyun is zoned out again, remembering a little girl from the other world and all the comrades he couldn't save. She snaps him out of it, worried he's mad. He tells her not to worry, as she was helpful. She asks if they can finish the tutorial mission together, and he agrees. As they walk, she calls him bus driver, saying she has a question. He tells her just to call him Woo-hyun. She's shocked that he used his real name, since it isn't filtered. She tells him it might be rude to ask, but wants to know whether he really picked Transcendence as his core ability. He confirms that he did, then, chat says he's cooked, since you can't change your core after choosing it. Only sub-abilities can be swapped. She then asks how he dodged bullets without any ability skills, and also if he plays any other games. He says he doesn't have any he particularly enjoys. Then he suddenly stops walking. She asks what's wrong. He says there are 2 Eternals about 20 meters ahead. She is confused since he doesn't have long-range detection abilities. So there's no way he can know that. But he tells her not to worry and keeps walking. She sighs, saying that there's no way it's real. Until she turns the corner and sees the 2 Eternals standing right where he said. She freaks out. Then Woo-hyun says he used to enjoy playing Colosseum quite a bit. She yells that he's walking straight at them. He dodges under the first strike and kicks the entire Eternal into a concrete wall. While it's falling, he says he was a ranker on Colosseum. He then grabs the other one and shatters its core with a single punch. Chat loses it. But realize if he was a Colosseum ranker, the movement makes sense. She asks if being a ranker is a big deal. Some chatters don't know, but others say, if you were a Colosseum ranker, pro scouts approached you instantly. Someone else says the only player who actually made it pro straight from Colosseum was Battler. She is surprised since Battler is the most famous Reverse Planet pro. Chat now wonders whether Woo-hyun ever fought Battler. They reach the final part of the tutorial and Woo-hyun freezes when he sees the red-haired lion-looking guard captain. It's the same man who blocked their escape in the real lab. The captain repeats the same line he told him back then. Woo-hyun laughs at the fact this portion was just considered the tutorial. He zones out again, the voices of his comrades whispering, screaming at him to devour the man. The captain leaps at him, but Soil pulls out an assault rifle from literally nowhere. The bullets bounce off a particle barrier. She panics, since she thought only awakened superhumans had particle barriers. She says she'll give him support fire from behind as she runs away. Chat mocks her for instantly relying on her carry. Woo-hyun reminds himself that this is only a game. And if doing this satisfies his comrades even slightly, then he'll do it for them. He steps forward and punches the captain in the ribs, hard enough to shatter the particle barrier with his fist, sending the man flying into the wall. Soil and Chat are speechless. Someone says this has to be a bug. The captain activates Iron Man. Just as it sounds, it makes his skin turn into solid metal. He stomps forward, the floor shattering under his steps, saying he is going to rip Woo-hyun apart. Woo-hyun dodges repeatedly, then the captain's arm transforms into a drill, but he still cannot land a single blow. Woo-hyun tightens his fist and uppercuts him in the jaw, breaking his goggles. The captain falls to his knees. Woo-hyun tells him not to cancel his ability, or he'll die too quickly. The voices of his comrades yell for him to tear the captain apart the same way they were. The captain asks how a mere test subject could be this powerful. Woo-hyun tells him it's all thanks to him, then tears into him, ripping him apart piece by piece until the security chief is dead. Soil is just staring in horror. Chat says that the carry is nuts. She says that now that they've defeated the tutorial boss, all that's left is escaping. Woo-hyun walks away as ghosts devour the captain. Finally they exit the lab. Completing the tutorial grants them a level up and a skill point. She asks if he'll continue the main quest today. But he says nah, since he's stopping for now. She asks him to wait. He says sure. She tells her chat the tutorial is complete and she'll see them tomorrow. The ends her stream. She then asks what he's doing later. Proposing that he become a regular on her stream, she will mostly play the main quest but also do some PvP on the side. She says she'll fit her schedule to his and will even pay him an appearance fee on top of it. He says he'll pass. Then she asks if she can at least add him as a friend. He says yes. She logs out, thanking him for playing with her. Woo-hyun says that now the tutorial is over, he wants to know why he still hasn't returned to the other side. Back in reality, he had no way of knowing what kind of future his gameplay would bring, or that someone had even donated asking him what it feels like to be back in the real world. The next morning, at the Korean branch of Planet Earth, the people who developed Reverse Planet, the entire office was in chaos because of Woo-hyun. It was an unprecedented incident in the company's history. They watch it, saying it's unbelievable. There's no buffs, stack correction, or weapons, yet he crushed the security chief bare-handed. The online community assumes he's hacking, and users are flooding the company board, demanding an explanation. One of the men asks if they're certain it's not a hack. They say they're 100% certain. They checked everything, even the logs from the moment the character was created. There was no evidence of him tampering, an external program injection. They've seen countless hackers over the years, but they've never seen any movement like his at all. Even with hacks, that kind of precision is impossible. The man says if it's not hacks, then he's just insane. They say there's a small chance it could be a new one they haven't detected, and the dude says that's right. So they need proper verification. Later we see him having a drink with Naeun. He asks if the community has really been flipped upside down because of him. She says it's in complete chaos. People even started a no modification challenge, and everyone failed, so they're crying that he's hacking. She was shocked too when she saw the video. He asks how she recognized him when that girl had her privacy filter on. He said his full government ID, and she's seen him fight before, so she already knew he was good, but for him to be at this level he's crazy. He says that must be why they contacted him, and she asks what he's talking about. He tells her that Planet Earth contacted him, and she freaks out saying they must be wanting to investigate whether he used hacks. Soil messaged him as well, and he tells her about that. She says that a game company directly stepping in to verify the use of hacks is going to get tons of attention, and asks if he's going to do it. He says it's the Korean branch, but still it's his only choice to directly interact with the developers. If someone high-ranking shows up he might even obtain clues about the other world. So he told them that he'd think about it, but he's going to do it. She says that's a good choice. If he's going to keep getting mentioned it's better to clarify, and him being called a hacker everywhere he goes will be annoying. He says he doesn't really care, and he doesn't know if people recognize him as he didn't show his face on the stream. She says even with a different appearance his fighting style is too unique. Even pros don't fight without abilities like him. These days when pros hide their identity, their fighting habits give them away. Woo-hyun says that internet detectives sure are crazy, and she agrees, but says it's good that he's doing it, otherwise that streamer would have gotten flamed. Woo-hyun asks why, since she has nothing to do with him. She says that the mob wouldn't care. Once dramas start, they aim at anyone related to it. At first they'll flame him, but soon after they'll aim for her too. Woo-hyun says in that case he won't let that happen, and he replies telling her that he'll do it. She's surprised he agreed. She says with this level of hype the stream viewer count is going to skyrocket. She starts laughing, telling them all just to wait because they're going to witness something never seen in Reverse Planet's history. She's sending out a notice about the hack verification stream. 4 days later Woo-hyun logs in, and she runs over saying that it's surely been hard on him, and this is all because of her. He tells her that it's okay, asking if she doesn't suspect him. She says no, she saw his movements herself. His eyes looked more like that of a deranged killer, and she doesn't think a hacker would have that kind of aura around them. It was just instinct. She then says it's time to start the stream, and she thanks everyone for waiting. Chat starts flooding with flame, telling her to get the hacker out of here. She says that she's got 10,000 viewers right now, and this is insane. This just proves how much interest this controversy has drawn, which is why she's invited him. He introduces himself again, and people start flaming him. She tells chat to calm down because if they keep doing this she'll disable it. She says before the main verification she wants to know what he thinks about it. He says that the fact that something like this became a controversy is ridiculous, and he shakes his head. They call him pretentious, and she says that it was too amazing to not have a controversy, to be honest. Then they ask how they're going to prove it, and she tells them that they invited a special guest for the verification. Bro just spawns in, then he introduces himself as Park Gyu-vyun, the operations team 1 manager of Planet Earth Korea. They start going crazy that she actually brought a game master, and Woo-hyun says since he's an operations team manager he might know something. After the verification he's to ask him questions. They all introduce themselves to one another, and Gyu-vyun stares at Woo-hyun saying he looks normal on the outside, but says that he'll guide them both to the verification area, and he teleports them there. She says that was sick, and Gyu-vyun says that this is a private training room, people use it to practice abilities or combat. As mentioned earlier, they will conduct multiple combat tests to check for any external program assistance. Woo-hyun says he doesn't recall the space from the other world, and Gyu-vyun confirms that he consents to the testing. Woo-hyun says he does, and then the door opens as an upgraded tier of the Eternal steps out. He recognizes it as a mid-tier 1, and Woo-hyun's eyes instantly go black. His comrades tell him that they're scared, but they still want revenge. Gyu-vyun says that from here on out he'll just need to kill them all, but before he finishes his sentence it begins rumbling, and he looks to his side as Woo-hyun is already gone. More debris flies in, and he barely blocks it. As he has to hold the clipboard up, everybody watches as he just beats the mid-tier Eternal with his bare fist. He eventually finishes, and Gyu-vyun's little program says that there was no external program interference detected, and that he's definitely not hacking. Gyu-vyun says they weren't able to detect any external programs, but the verification duration is too short, asking if he would be able to fight in the method they specify. Woo-hyun says of course, and he says it must be to confirm if he's not using an autopilot cheat. An autopilot cheat is fundamentally a proxy control system operated by a program, so it cannot perform combat exactly as the user wants. Therefore, if you decide in advance how you're going to win the fight, and then fight according to that plan, you can prove that you're not cheating. Gyu-vyun says that he needs to slash the heads of the 3 training bots with his sickle. Woo-hyun says okay, but Gyu-vyun's confused on why he accepted it since this is very disadvantageous for him, but he still can't imagine him losing as the 3 Eternals leap at him. All 3 punch together towards his head, but he instantly takes one of them off, and leaps back, finishing the other 2 in with a single dash as well. He takes a look back as they fall onto the floor, and Soil says she knew she saw it back then, and that his weapon moves as if it was alive. Some people in chat say that his weapon is overpowered, but other people say that it's him, and not the weapon. Gyu-vyun says that with this he's collected enough data for verification, but as the administrator of this game, he's just dying to know if he can win against the advanced level training bot with only 1 core ability. He knows that he's being greedy, but he still wants to find out. They then race the gate. He has a humanoid-like robot. He starts to walk towards him, and the chat says that he's crossed a line, and this admin is toxic. It looks like one of the things from I Am Robot. Gyuvyun says that this will be the final verification test, and this is one of the later versions of the Eternal. Woohyun is surprised because the last time he fought this, all of his comrades were ripped apart by it, and he still can recall its evil smile. He starts to get pissed, but the Eternal moves in first, punching towards his head. He dodges, but it still grazes his cheek, and the Eternal instantly counters with 3 more attacks, which send shockwaves out, but Woohyun dodges them, causing them to shatter the wall behind him. He says that as expected, intermediate bots can't be compared to this one. If he allows even one strike it'll be bad. He then hits it in the side, and says not to mention that the hardness of its body is on a whole different level, so he can't damage it at all. He goes for another punch, which he ducks underneath, and he says in that case he'll just beat her up until the damage builds. The robot is then whacked over, and over. Gyuvyun says that for him to actually be able to match this bot with one core ability is crazy, and while it looked like he was being pushed back earlier, he's now starting to completely overwhelm the bot, keeping it on the defensive, and it looks like further inspection is meaningless. He makes the Eternal disappear, seeing that he got rid of it since he's got enough data to verify the results. Woohyun says he was wondering why it disappeared, but that makes sense. Soil then asks how the verification turned out, and he says that it's clearly been confirmed that there is no external program involved, meaning he's not a cheater. The chat starts to get torn apart between whether to believe it or not, and Soil says that she told him as well that he wasn't cheating. They've even started giving him a nickname called the Haxical. She says she likes that one, but tells them all to remember that Woohyun has never used hacks, and he just has a high level of mechanics. Now that the verification is over, she wants Woohyun to tell them how he feels. He just tells them all good work, and Gyuvyun laughs saying it was a fun experience. She then ends her live stream, which has over 100,000 viewers, and she thanks both Gyuvyun and Woohyun for showing up to her stream. Gyuvyun says that he's just glad that Woohyun accepted the verification request, and Woohyun says it wasn't much. Gyuvyun then goes to leave, but Woohyun tells him to wait since he has a question to ask him. Gyuvyun wonders what it is, and Woohyun asks if the game has ever had a bug before, something like getting stuck in it for a very long time. Gyuvyun says he's never heard anything like that, and if there had been a critical bug like that, this game wouldn't have blown up. Woohyun tells him that he has a point, and Gyuvyun leaves. Soil sighs, saying that now that it's done, she's going to go back to her stream. She's planning to share the stream revenue with him, asking if she can contact him later. He says he doesn't really need it, but to just call him. She really doesn't want to let him go since he's a living, breathing clip farm. He asks what else she wants to say, and she says she can't bring herself to ask him to be on a stream again, and the only reason he accepted it is because he needed this chance to explain himself, and that she needs to draw the line here for today, and she says that she'll call him next time. Woohyun though is disappointed that he didn't get as much information as he wanted. He then gets a message from Naeun, saying that she'll meet him in the battle prep room. Later she pulls up, asking how it was to be on a stream for the first time, and he says that was actually his second, but it doesn't suit him at all, and he has to keep an eye on what the viewers say, and he just didn't like it. She says she sees, and in that case he could just play the game, and not care about the viewers. She'll set up everything so he can make his decision after he tries it. He really doesn't want to do it, but she tells him it's time for them to go do some PvP. Obviously it's just a game mode where players fight against one another, and it's one of the 2 biggest game modes in Reverse Planet. Woohyun asks if this is really why she called him here so suddenly, and she says of course, asking if he was going to leave without playing it with her. He says he just feels like it doesn't suit him, so he's going to just not play for a while. He just wanted to return to the other world. She tells him that PvP is the core content of the game, and he shouldn't jump to conclusions after playing just the tutorial. Woohyun says that the story mode is quite similar to the other world, but everything he sees in PvP will be new, and there might be something different other than when he went into story mode. He tells her he'll give it a try, and she says that she'll explain it to him now. First off, Showdown is literally having a showdown against matched opponents, and there are 2 modes, which is 1v1, and 2v2s. Warfare is a game mode that forces you to fight in a team of 5. Then there's what they're going to be playing today, which is just a battle royale, for only the last person or team alive wins. She says that since it's his first time, they should go in as a team, and that he needs to build to play PvP, so she can recommend one. He says that's fine as he already knows a good one, as he's following the exact same build that allowed him to be called superhuman in the other world. He says that he'll get his build ready as she goes live, and she says okay. She says that they'll start at the military base, which is a popular place, and there's tons of high-ranking equipment, which means people drop hot there. She asks if it's okay if she records it, since she wants to upload it to YouTube. He tells her to go for it, and then she starts it, and it starts to spawn her into the military base. She says that she's going to move to a different area. Woohyun spawns in a building behind a man, but Woohyun closes the gap. Meanwhile, Naeun's outside, and as explosions are going off, she sees in the kill feed that Woohyun gets a kill already, but it's not just one, and he starts flooding the kill feed, killing hella people in rapid succession. If you've watched till the end, comment, Superman, to let me know. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.